Sabapathikku Veru Deivam Shiva Chidambaram oore போதுமே பரகதிக்கு வேறு புண்ணியம் பண்ண வேண்டும் அரியர் புலையர் மூவர் பதம் தந்தாரிலே புராணம் அரியர் புலையர் மூவர் பதம் தந்தாரிலே புராணம்.
Come to Chidambaram. So Nandanar is a celebrated icon in the temple, no doubt about it. The people from his community who claim their origin to be from Nandanar's family, who are still in the birthplace of Nandanar, come here on his Guru Puja day. They are taken with all the respect due in the temple, with all the processional, all the grandeur, the Parivaram, the Upakarnams, all are brought in. And they are taken to the Kanaka Sabai, very close to Nataraja. They are made, their exclusive Karpura Harati and Darshan is given to them. There is absolutely no doubt Nandanar is one of the most celebrated devotees of Chidambaram. There is no doubt at all about it. And the respect that he is given here is what is to be given according to the Agamas. So there is no caste difference because he is Nandanar or from the community that way. And Nandanar is that way, one of the most noted devotees. Then you have an undertaker of Chidambaram called as Pillai Vettiyan. One day he was serving in the cremation grounds of Chidambaram. Shiva himself, who's he is also a Sambhava. So he for long was active in his profession. One day suddenly a thought struck. He was like, I've been doing it for all people. Now I don't have a family. What happens to me the day I breathe my last? What happens to me when I fall down? Worried by this question, not knowing what is going to be his end, for the first time he comes running to Nataraja. Being informed that Nataraja is the God for all, he comes here and prays to him and he asks him, what will happen to me? I have been doing your duty. In fact, safeguarding the cremation ground is your job. I have been doing it, deputed by you. What happens to me when I fall down? Now, Nataraja promises him that I will be there to perform all your final rites. And as promised, he comes there, stays there in the cremation ground, performs all the final rites, lits the pyre, finishes it all for him and then comes back to the temple. That's the second person. And the third in this line is an woodcutter. An woodcutter who was serving firewood to the madam of Umapati Sivacharya. He is the fourth in the great lineage of Shaiva Agama Acharyas, whom we call as the Santanacharyas. The Sivasyujyam or the Agama tradition here was propagated by four Acharyas. The fourth in list is Umapati Shivam. Umapati Sivacharya belongs to the Chidambaram Dikshitar community. And he took Dikshai from a non-Dikshitar. So he was in fact outcasted and sent out. Then Nataraja performed several miracles to bring him back in, to tell the world how great he is. So Umapati Sivacharya had a matam for himself, outskirts of Chidambaram, in en route Annamala University. The temple is still there. And he was propagating Shaiva Agamas from there. He had a great Shishya Vargam. He continued the Shishya Parampara from there. There was a woodcutter who served wooden fire logs for the matam there, the Madapalli of the matam. One day he requested Umapati Sivacharya, as the Agama exposition was going on, he was listening to it from outside. Umapati Sivacharya was telling about sivasyujyam. So this woodcutter went to him and asked him, is there a possibility that a person like me can also attain it? So Umapati Sivacharya says, promise in the name of Maheshwara, anybody by the kripa of his guru can attain sivasyujyam. So he says, I don't have a guru. Can I seek refuge in your feet? I mean, when a Shishya comes with that amount of innocence, a guru can never say no. He will have to accept him. And he accepts. And the woodcutter says that, well, now that you've accepted me, I'm not sure how many classes I can come and attend. I have no clue about what you're talking. Where is the promissory note that I am promised Sivasyujyam Mukti? Asking for it, Umapati Sivacharya commanded a palm leaf to be brought. He sits on his Jnanapeetam and writes a letter to Parameshwara, a recommendation letter. The song is still there, a 4-line Venba poem, which says, Kotravan Kudi Umapati Sivathanuடைய வார்த்தை இது. Kotravan Kudi is the name of the neighborhood outside Chidambaram where Umapati Sivacharya was residing. So he says, Umapati Sivam from Kotravan Kudi promises the person who comes to Kailasham with this should be greeted in and should be given a Sivasyujyam Mukti. And the woodcutter attains sivasyujyam the next day. The moment he gets the recommendation letter, he enters the sivasyujya Agni. This news reaches the Maharaja, and people who were against Umapati Shivam tells the Maharaja that some scam it seems to be, that he entered a funeral pyre, a fire suddenly struck there and the person is dead now. So we are not sure what it is, we'll have to make an inquiry. Umapati Shivam is commissioned to the court. He explains it all, the king is not ready to accept it. He says these things cannot happen, salvation is not that easy. And he says it is not by my blessings, it is from my Purvacharyas, it is through their blessings, I pray to them and that is how we reached Parameshwara. It is by their words. So the king says, well, prove it to me. So the next day the king comes there. But who would be ready to come and actually be a part of the experiment, nobody would want to try it. So Umapati Shivam says, well, if nobody is accepting it, let me show you how moksham is attained by Guru Kripa according to Shaiva Agamas, even to an inanimate object. So he chooses a small creeper and blesses it and says, let this creeper attain moksham. And that moment the creeper there in his temple attains mukti. A cactus plant, in fact, a very wild plant, it attains mukti too. So Shaiva Agamas says that you don't even need to have Chaitanya. Animals, for example, they have thinking process, thought process, all that is there. But can somebody actually sermon an animal or a bird or a reptile the greatness of Shiva or the greatness of Shiva Puja, or initiate an animal or a bird into Shiva Puja Paddhati and tell it how to do Shiva Puja? We cannot. But Sthala Puranam after Sthala Puranam very clearly speaks about how various animals, birds, reptiles, insects, ants, all of them have actually performed a Shiva Puja and attained Mukti. So when it comes to Shiva Kripai, nothing stops a living being from attaining Mukti or performing Shiva Puja. So Kotravan Kodi Umapati Shivam blessed a woodcutter. These three people who were not initiated, didn't belong to any celebrated class of the so-called social hierarchy, didn't have any learning experience, didn't know what Shaiva Agamam was, didn't know who Shiva was. Their love was very blind towards Shiva. And these are the three people from the so-called lower section of the societal strata who attained Mukti in a very, very simple manner. And Gopalakrisha Bharathi documents this in one line in his beautiful evergreen Abhogi Kriti, Sabapathikku Veru Deivam Samanamagum. Ariya Pulayar Mover Padamadaindar Endre Puranam Ariyach Solla Kettom. That line is enough to connect with the Pallavi. Sabapathikku Veru Deivam Samanamaguma. Ariya Pulayar Mover Padamadaindar Endre Puranam Arindu Solla Kettom. Sabapathikku Veru Deivam Samanamaguma. You cannot have one more deity like Sabapati who has nothing but love for his own creations. Chidambaram temple, in fact, you cannot stop people belonging to another nationality or another religion from darshan. As long as they follow the protocol of the temple with due respect, the dress code which is suggested and all that, even a chudidar and a dupatta is enough, and they follow that. No, Nataraja is for all. When you say he is universal, anybody who is interested should come and have a darshan. Nobody is stopped. And all of them can also climb up the Kanaka Sabai. The only requirement for men is to remove their upper cloth. Of any race, any origin, any gender, any nationality, any religion, all of them are welcome to Chidambaram temple. Nothing stops people. He is the universal God, so everybody is a part of the universe, so he is easily approached by all people. That is the speciality of Sabapati.
Sabapathikku Veru Deivam Samanamagum.